As I said, I also had a conversation with Anton Korynevych, ambassador at large of the Ukrainian Ministry of Foreign Affairs. In one of his interviews, he mentioned 38 countries that have taken the initiative to create a tribunal, each with its own legislation and capabilities. So I'd ask him how to manage this giant process, taking into account all these numerous nuances.
Which should have jurisdiction over the crime of aggression against Ukraine. And the very idea why these 38 states participate in the core group is that they believe that we cannot have this lacune, this gap in accountability system, that now we do not have any kind of a court which can try leadership of Russian Federation for the crime of aggression against Ukraine. So all the 38 states inside the core group, they are unified with this principle, with this goal, with this aim, to find out the best solution how to establish a tribunal. But of course, it is obvious that 38 states, each state might have its own preferences or its own views on how to establish a special tribunal. So that is why we need the core group. That is why we need to meet with participants of the core group regularly. And we already held 4 meetings, and we will have new meetings starting from September. So to find out this basis, this legal basis which would be okay for us, for Ukraine, and of course for our key international partners to move forward.
We all saw what Russia has done in the occupied Ukrainian lands. We all see what the Russian missiles do right now. We have already heard numerous Putin's testimonies about his glorious plans and victorious battles and righteous actions. However, all the accusations against the Kremlin's Tsar are not yet voiced aloud, but rather chastely veiled under the blurry general term of war crimes. Even the ICC indictment and the warrant appears to cover only one of numerous Putin's crimes: Ukrainian children abduction and their illegally sending to Russia. Why?
It's not because of the absence of the tribunal, but of course, the absence of the tribunal unfortunately makes it impossible now to try Russian leadership for the crime of aggression. And we believe that this should be fixed, and this gap, this lacune should be fulfilled, and there should be a special tribunal. I also wouldn't say that there are some political matters or issues. We need all to understand that investigation and prosecution in relation to core international crimes is not an easy job. And moreover, we understand that currently in the territory of Ukraine, there are thousands of war crimes and crimes against humanity committed pretty much on a daily, weekly and monthly basis. So it's not so easy really to investigate and prosecute, but our law enforcement agencies and Office of the Prosecutor of the International Criminal Court do the job. So we are sure that these 2 first arrest warrants are only the first ones, and we will see more of these arrest warrants. They will follow. But the very case, I think, is that this crime of war crime, of illegal deportation, of illegal transfer of Ukraine's children is very obvious. I mean, there are orders signed by these persons. There are video recordings how these persons are participating in the commission of this crime. So I think that it was decided that these arrest warrants should start with something, and that the most appropriate crime to start with is the illegal deportation, illegal transfer of children. But as I said, I'm sure that more arrest warrants for representatives of Russian leadership will follow.
According to international law and diplomatic rules, world leaders enjoy immunity. However, we all understand that it is necessary to punish Putin as soon as possible. So I asked how to bypass legal immunity and whether there is such a possibility at all. Here's what Anton Korynevych answered.
It's important to mention that the International Criminal Court in The Hague, which issued the arrest warrants for Vladimir Putin, this International Criminal Court does not recognize any kind of immunities. So, and this arrest warrant issued for Putin is the symbol of this. Because if the International Criminal Court understood and recognized that this person has a personal immunity, then this court should not have been able to issue an arrest warrant because of immunity. But we see that International Criminal Court strictly works on the basis of its Rome Statute, and Article 27 of Rome Statute provides that there are no immunities for anybody. So, President of the Russian Federation, Prime Minister of the Russian Federation, Minister of Foreign Affairs of the Russian Federation, they can be tried in International Criminal Court. And the arrest warrant for Vladimir Putin is legitimate, legal, and it's officially working now. So each and every state, which is a state party to the Rome Statute of the International Criminal Court, does have an obligation to detain, arrest, and surrender this person to The Hague, to the International Criminal Court. So this arrest warrant works now. And we can also see this in the example of this summit, which is going to take place soon. And the Russian president will not go to that summit because of the obligation of the host state of the summit to enforce, to execute all the arrest warrants issued by the International Criminal Court. So, of course, we cannot predict when these persons may be arrested. For this, they should be on the territory of a state which does have an obligation to execute arrest warrants of the International Criminal Court. So, on the territory of a state which is a state party to the Rome Statute. So, we believe it's a matter of time.